Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of God Built This Podcast. I'm your host Maxine. I'm on episode 252. We have so much to discuss on this episode. So much. I hope everyone had a lovely 4th of July. I get it. We're black, or if you're not listening, hey, and you're black, whatever. The point is, I get that nowadays the cool thing, the woke thing to do is to not celebrate 4th of July as a black person here in America. I denounce that. Yes, I do know historically there were still slaves at the commencement of the 4th of July. I get that. I also don't want us to take away from the fact that this is our country also. Many of our ancestors fought to create this, our land as well. And I just think that nowadays it's been so normalized to associate the American flag as this racist, MAGA, KKK, Trump loving, just all of this negative connotation. And I think, though I understand how one could adopt that mindset, I just don't think that mindset is healthy. I feel like it's important for us to remember that this is our land. This is our land. Just like many black people say a lot, like, oh, our ancestors built this land off of this is our blood, So why not stand in that pride in spite of many of the heinous acts done to black ancestors? I think we should also have pride in this country. We should also be grateful to be here. Honestly, I'd rather be here than any other country. Hello? I know we can't say it. Oh, I'm gonna move to, I don't want to move to Ghana. I don't want to move to Ghana. I get it. We want to be in a place where you see more people of the same melanin. I get that, but I still don't want to move to Ghana. I don't want to live there. Like, I want to stay in my land. I'm not on this Marcus Garvey type of time. And I think it's like the cool thing to do right now. Like, oh, F this country, F this land. Y'all say this. Y'all talk about that. Okay. The type of free speech you have on this land, you would wish for that if you were to move to a communist land like Cuba. Cuba. But other countries that people like to idolize, it's the same thing of just like people just not having pride in just anything that they have, always comparing, contrasting, focusing on the negative and not appreciating where they're from. In spite of the flaws that this country has, there are a lot of positives, and I am grateful to be an American. Shit. And even saying that as a black person is like, oh, so cringe nowadays. Like, oh my gosh, that means you're a MAGA lover. And so what? And so what, nigga? Okay. So anyway, happy 4th. There's a lot to discuss in this episode. So I had a very sophisticated list of topics to discuss, from affirmative action to cocaine in the White House. And then I got down to the mess of the culture. And that's my pussy pink, my booty hole brown. Pound town, F it, pound town. Those are the words by Sexy Red, who is a new and up and coming artist, rapper with half red, half blonde, wig on, stomach out, flat stomach, but out nonetheless, bikini red top, and just barely there clothes. And this is where we are musically, culturally. And then the topic of Keke Palmer and her baby daddy, but she is in a relationship with him, so I don't want to dismiss him as just the baby daddy. He is her boyfriend, at least at this time of the recording. I don't know, shit change. But Keke Palmer was recently at the Usher residence concert that he's been having for like a year or so. But I think that's the whole point, because residence, like in residence type of concerts in Las Vegas, is not just like for a couple of weeks. It's for a whole year, for particular dates. And so she attended. And Keke Palmer, we all know her. We watch her grow in our eyes, so just right in front of our eyes, from the spelling bee to having her own talk show as a young Black woman. I think she was the first Black woman, at least around her age, to have a talk show. So she was a trendsetter for that. So shout out to her. And I think she seems very cool and relatable and down to earth, very talented. She does her Angela Bassett impressions so spot on, just really well done. I think she's beautiful also. And yeah, so she's a Virgo, just I guess to put that out there. Anyway, so she recently had a baby with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend is actually the brother of an actor who was on the show, or is on the show, Insecure. Even though Insecure is over, his character still remains on the show. That's why I say is. I like to just be very clear with that. There's a difference between is and was. Anyway, so that's her brother, and so that's her boyfriend. Sorry, that's her boyfriend. So his brother on the show, his character is kind of like, I guess you put it like a fuck boy. I thought he was so cute though. I like his character. I forgot his name right now, but I know his real name, Sarunas Jackson. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Anyway, so I bring that up because the character on the show was not well received by viewers. A lot of people saw his character as like trifling and, whatever. So they're trying to make it seem like, oh, this is your brother? Oh, that's why he's acting like this right now, because look at him on the show. When it's like, that's a character. It's so silly. Anyway, so recently, Keke Palmer attended the Usher Raymond Las Vegas residence show and had a great time. She was dressed in this lace-covered, ass-showing dress. The front is pretty conservative. You don't really see, it's like a unitard in the front, but in the back, the unitard is now a thong. So you see the ass, the imprints of her ass, but again, it's covered in this lace see-through dress that she has over the unitard. But the dress is very form-fitting, so you can really just see the accentuation upon her body, and her body is more voluptuous now that she has a baby. So she's seated in a accessible seating area for Usher to have gone up to her. And he's done this. Like, a lot of times with performers, they attract to the audience members and put on a show for them directly, make them feel like it's just me and you here, connect with the audience. It's a time, and it's a beautiful thing, and it's just exciting, especially since with Usher, he's been the crush of many people, of many girls, maybe boys too, but of many girls for years, okay? So Usher came up to her and was singing, what song? I think it was There Goes My Baby. There she goes. Yeah, I think it was that song. It was one of his amazing songs. And she's cheesing. She's excited. At first, she's just close to him, like face to face. And she's cheesing. And then she starts to wrap her arms around him, around his neck, as he's singing and serenading to her. He's not doing much as far as giving her a lap dance or anything like that. He's just standing there singing, smiling, just really being in the moment with her. And she is so happy. She's in. It's exciting. I get it. It's exciting. It's Usher. Come on. It's Usher. Ooh, girl, look at you. It's Usher. I get it. So anyway, they're close. They're dancing. It's exciting. It's a moment. It's a vibe. Shortly after the video has gone viral online, you see a tweet posted by her boyfriend. And it says, basically saying, he was disapproving of her outfit. He didn't like her outfit. He thought her outfit was inappropriate because she is now a mother. That's what he says. Because she's a mother now, she should not be wearing clothes such as this. He never said anything about like her behavior towards Usher. So he kind of kept that mute. Instead, he presented this shaming rhetoric on her clothing choice. And, I feel like, I come from a time when this was the thing that men felt comfortable in doing, especially coming from a religious setting. Women's clothing, our appearance just overall was policed. Very much policed and very much just taken over, usurped by men who thought they had power over our bodies, our appearance, etc., etc. So I'm used to that. I'm also aware of how clothing could attract attention that may not be the attention you want. And I do understand how this may sound like victim blaming so I get that. I hear that side and I also agree with that side, but I do think there's a fine balance that could be had. And my balance is, let's assume that they live together. They have a child together. They're in a relationship. I'm sure maybe he was in town. Let's say he's in town. He's in town and he's watching her get ready to go out to this concert. Or actually, here's the thing though. This concert's in Vegas. They may live together in Los Angeles. So she probably took a flight. You know what I mean? So he may not even know. I don't know. Okay, but here's the point though. I think the point is, overall, I think as someone in a relationship with a man, woman and a man in a relationship together, I'm sure there are conversations being had of what the man is comfortable with you wearing out when you're at a club or at something, a setting of this sort. And that is why a lot of men like to vocalize like, I don't want my woman wearing such and such, because it could attract attention from men. And yes, there are men who will still holler, scream, break their neck if you went outside just wearing some sweatpants. There are still men who will still find you attractive. I agree. But let's not be stupid here, for lack of a better word. Let's not be stupid here. Oftentimes when you are dressed more in a sexy, revealing way, you are going to attract more attention from men. And sometimes these men will find entitlement in the way that you dress as an invitation for them to approach you in a way that's inappropriate. So in this case here, though the front of her dress, of Keke Palmer's dress, I find it appropriate, not inappropriate. I find it appropriate. I thought it was cute. I thought it was actually fitting for this type of event. I thought it was fine. I mean, it's the back, though, that I do find a little problematic. Just a little problematic. But understand this. It's coming from someone who is fairly conservative. Like, I know sometimes I could come off here as not conservative. I feel like I come on conservative, though. But I feel like sometimes I may come off differently. But, you know, we're different in different ways. I get it. But the point is, I think sometimes for me, though, I just me personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable, even if I didn't have a man. I wouldn't feel comfortable having my ass out like that. Even under a lace cover. Like, yes, my ass is not technically out, but it's still out because you can still see it, obviously, because the material is lace. Like, the whole, like, not even, like a little, the underneath part of the ass. It's the whole cheek, y'all. Like, I'm not even being exaggerative here. Like, it's the whole 2 cheeks. So you see that happening, and I don't know. For me, I just wouldn't feel comfortable. That's just me. Now, there are some factors here that you have to put into play. She's an entertainer. She is also in the same field as him, and she obviously feels comfortable doing that. And maybe there's an understanding amongst entertainers that, yes, though I'm in a relationship, I will dress in a different way compared to a regular 9-to-5 type of girl. Sure, maybe that's an understanding, but I feel like, though, if you're in a relationship with someone, I'm sure you've had conversations with that person and talked about what you find to be appropriate for the other partner, and you talk about the boundaries that you have. You know, I think sometimes now that we're very heavily in the stage of feminism in a way that is so strong. Like, I've never seen this intentional push for women to be like, fuck men. F this nigga, F men, and F my relationship, F my marriage, F this commitment that I made, like, and be so quick to dismiss and end a relationship because of, he's trying to tell me I need to cook more. Like, because of things that you should be doing, right? Because of things that, as a woman in a relationship, if your partner, if your man, if your boyfriend, your husband wants for you to make him feel considered and catered to, as he is giving you all that he needs to give you in the relationship, right? He's providing, he's securing you, he's making you feel protected, all of these amazing things. And at the very least, he's asking you, can you have dinner ready for me when I get home? Hello? Can you have dinner ready for me when I enter this door? Can you have dinner ready for me? And what does Black Twitter do? Black feminist Twitter do? Girl, you better leave him today. You in danger, girl. He's sounds abusive to me. Narcissistic to me. Like, what? I'm sorry. Your man who's been providing for you, taking care of you, making sure you're safe and good. He comes home to you. He is protecting you every day. He's asking you if you could make sure you cook for him and have his meal prepared. And his dick sucked? Is that too much to ask? What are we talking about? So at the very least, if Keke Palmer's man was not comfortable, and let's just assume that he is providing and doing all that he needs to do in a relationship. And yes, I get it. Keke Palmer is notably a bigger star than he is. I don't know if he's even in the entertainment industry. Maybe he is an up-and-coming actor, but I know his brother. And his brother is not even like this big star, but I'm familiar with his brother's work because of him being on Insecure. But at the very least, let's not look at it like that, because I don't think it's fair to like compare the celebrity status amongst entertainers. I just feel like respectively in your relationship, there should be a level of respect. And now that we're in this age of women just strongly advocating for you to not care and not tend to your wifely girlfriend duties and want you to join them in the streets, single, miserable, and lonely, it's really a cause for concern. It's a cause for concern, and I think it's very disappointing that instead of people saying, oh, sure, instead of people saying like they could work through this, it's not a big deal, it's just been an ongoing onslaught of conversation, of insults, of anyone who dares to even understand the boyfriend's perspective. I think two things are true here. What's true is the boyfriend should not have gone to Twitter to address his qualms about Keke Palmer's dress and her behavior. He didn't really mention her behavior. He just shamed her for what she wore. And I think that wasn't cool. That's not cool. I don't think that's right. He should have just texted her, called her afterwards, spoke to her in person when he saw her next. And it's true that there is a level of decorum as someone who's a woman in a relationship with a man should have when she is out and about in these streets. Because what is the difference between you and a single woman? You know, I expect that behavior from a single woman, from a woman who's trying to get chose, right? I expect from your ass to be out and for your titties to be out, like Janelle Monáe. We'll get into that again. But I would expect that from someone like that if you were single. You know, and I don't want to shame the whole mother part because that's a whole sensitive topic. So I do think that he was wrong for that too. Like, don't shame me on this, oh, you're a mother thing. I get what he's saying, but again, I just think he didn't do it well. I think mothers are, especially new moms, are already feeling the stress of this new journey that they're on. So to feel this shame coming from your partner, from your boyfriend, I don't want to say partner anymore. You reserve that for, anyway. But to hear that, it doesn't add on. I mean, it doesn't help, right? If it adds fuel to the fire. So I get that. But anyway, I just feel like overall, I think he could have handled himself better. He definitely could have handled himself better. And it just could have been something just handled in the household. Okay? But whatever. Shout out to Keke Palmer. I think is shout out to Usher though. look what Usher's doing. Shout out to Usher. Shout out to Usher. Okay, so let's get into our next topic here. My pussy pink, my booty hole brown. This is such trash, but it's catchy. It's catchy trash. I'm sorry, it's catchy. It's catchy. Pound town, everybody. And it's like, hold on, my pussy is pink. My booty hole is brown. Anyway, so let's talk about India.Arie. India.Arie is sick of you hoes. I wish I could find. I thought I saved that. Oh, I didn't? Okay, well, I'm going off the top from this one. So India.Arie. Oh, no. Okay, I have it on my Twitter. Let's go into that real quick. Okay, so India.Arie is upset with women in the entertainment industry nowadays because they are just doing too much and it won't age well. This is the same India.Arie who talks about in her music how she is not her hair, she is not her skin, I am not the same. You know, just beautiful words, very spiritual and just beautiful words. But if you remember, just her lyrics back then, you know, still the same lyrics, but her lyrics very much speak to the type of women that are encouraged to behave in such a manner today. So it's funny because this, what was I gonna say? This, like, had India Arie came out with that song today, she would have been shamed for it. She would have been shamed for it. People would have looked at her like, oh, you're so judgmental. Who do you think you are? You are shaming women. So it would have been something like that. Okay, I found it. It wouldn't have been received well. I'm just saying that. It wouldn't have been received well. And I think that is saying a lot to just the times that we're in. Okay, so let me read this comment. I don't know where she commented this comment to, like under what post, but I have the comment here. So India Arie says, oh, and again, so let me paint the picture. So there was the Essence Festival that took place annually, and this year it was always in NOLA, New Orleans, Louisiana. So, and typically with Essence Fest, it's not like, I've always seen it as this jazz, neo soul, just very chill type of vibe. Not once have I thought it to be ratchet, ghetto, no decorum having, titties popping, ass shaking type of vibe. That's never been the vibe or the aesthetic of Essence Festival. So to see the difference now, and this one at least, I don't know if it will continue, who knows, but it's definitely different. So let's get into this. So India Arie says, the issue is, what is context? Humanity does everything, but does everything belong in a stage? No. Is everything for kids? No. Is everything for everybody? No. So when we as a culture make something like this mainstream, it shows a lack of discretion and discernment. To those in the comments who laugh at anyone who wants these things for our culture, you certainly have that right. Just as many folks have the right to want our mainstream international export out our music to show us in a respectful light. I like to go on the record saying this won't age well, and that's my issue. I love Janelle and Meg the way I love us all, and I don't like this moment. Don't bother debating me, LOL, I don't care, and I do this. For 25 years, I've done this. What I say, like, I've done this. So read, ponder, or don't. Let's ponder. Let's ponder. I agree with her. For the most part, from what I'm understanding, is she is not in favor. She is not approving the new wave, the new aesthetic, the new image of women who's in the entertainment industry and what they're promoting. And she specifically named two artists whom she feels like their current aesthetic won't age well. Janelle Monáe and Meg Thee Stallion. I would have just focused on Janelle Monáe, really, because I've talked about her in a previous episode and how she has been showing her titties left and right as if she never had titties before. And it's been so contradictory to who she was in the beginning of her career. And yes, you can grow, you can evolve, you can be more sexual and sensual. All of that is allowed, and that's fine. It's understandable. But what I don't like is her constant push to make sure we see her titty, her breast. Every time we see her, she has to flash somebody. And I find that to be disturbing. I do. When Miley Cyrus did it, it was disturbing as well. She came out here like a wrecking ball. Oh, shout out to that. Shout out to that. She came out here like a wrecking ball. Okay? Twerking, invented twerking. You know, before she came out with twerking, it was like she coined the term. I'm saying that in jest, but basically, you know how white people are. They come over, they take our terms and act like they created it. She came out here, tongue hanging out her mouth, kissing girls. She was married, right? Or she was about to get married to that fine man. Didn't go through with it. Instead was in a relationship with the woman for a little while. That eventually didn't work out. But the point is, she had a stint of this type of aesthetic. So for a good 3 years, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, it was for a little while. She was this overly sexual, overly explicit presentation. And then how she look like now? Last time I saw her, she had all her clothes on. Last time I saw her, her tongue was in her mouth. And it stayed there. It stayed in there. You know, so my point is, it's for a moment. The moment didn't last. The moment was just, it was a gimmick. It was a gimmick. It was a rollout for something. It wasn't authentic. And maybe one could argue it was authentic for where she was then. No, it wasn't. It was. I promise you it wasn't. But let's say that's true. Let's say if that's true. I think the woman that she is now, and this is a hard pill to swallow, but I'm gonna put it down your throat. The woman that she is now probably looks back and realizes, damn, I wish I didn't do that. There's probably some remorse there. Or, you know, people like to say, there's no remorse, there's no regrets, just learning lessons. I get that. That's all dandy. But let's be real here. There are some things from your past you probably regret. You probably wish you didn't do that. I know I have some. So to now be in a completely different stage, I'm not saying she's this super conservative, like Christian fundamentalist type of person now. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying she's not having her tongue hang out anymore. She's not out here twerking and kissing girls, and she's not doing that anymore. She fell back. She's on a farm. She's very conservative now. Well, in that sense, I don't think she's all, I don't know. But like last time I've seen her, she dialed it back. So what I like about what India Arie says here is that this won't age well. And that's the truth. Janelle Monáe showing her titties left and right. Give it 3-4 years. Her image will change. And eventually she's going to look back at this and be like, damn, I probably shouldn't do that. I probably shouldn't have done that. You know, and I think that is a conversation that needs to be had. But of course, when you're in it and you're committed to it and, you know, whatever. But India Arie, I agree. I think she's bold for having said this. I know she's getting a lot of backlash, and it is what it is. But I like how people are pulling up lyrics from her previous songs. That Video Girl song, I'm not your average girl from your video. Back of my clothes. Hold on, there's a couple lyrics in that song that's really good. That's really good. Video Girl, India Arie lyric. Okay. I'm not the average girl from your video, and I ain't built like a supermodel, but I learned to love myself unconditionally because I am a queen. I'm not the average girl from your video. My worth is not determined by the price of my clothes. No matter what I'm wearing, I will always be the India Arie. Right? Okay, so what's beautiful about these words are she's telling you, like, she's more than her skin, she's more than her clothes, she's more than these things. She she's not this average girl. Like, don't look at her this way, right? And this was well received, well taken in back then when this song came out in 2001. Now, women today are looking back and pulling these lyrics up and saying, she's judgy, stop judging video girls, so what, I like pricey clothes, so what, I like to wear that. Basically telling her that my worth is determined by the price of my clothes. But again, now we have this day and age where there's this discouragement from shaming women ever. Like, don't ever shame me. Don't ever tell me no. Don't ever tell me reconsider, yada, yada. Like, don't ever. So just a slight mention of India Arie saying, my worth is not determined by the price of my clothes, is rubbing women of today the wrong way. Because many women today are determining their worth based off of their clothes, their price of the price of their clothes, and the bags, the shoes, all of these things that really don't matter. That India Arie really said it from good faith, like, hey, this doesn't matter. Like, whether you could afford it or not, whether you like to have this style or not, just know that you're more than that. Like, she's telling us something very needed, right? This is needed information. Sometimes we get so distracted by our physical appearance that we forget to feed our soul. And it's a beautiful song. But again, it was better received in 2001. But now in 2023, you have a lot of hate towards it, and it's creating more of a divide. But shout out to India Arie. I agree with her. But my pussy pink, my booty hole brown. Okay, so there is a new trend for dinner. Would you or would you not eat stir-fried stones? Let me just break it down to you. So, it's a new Chinese culinary craze that has been ablaze on the internet, and is called stir-fried stones. And it says here, Chinese culinary craze of stir-fried stones rocks the internet. Good one. Okay, so resurgence of centuries old, and it's suodu. I don't know how to say that. I think it's suodu. No, sudiu. Okay, so sudiu, excuse me, which means to suck and discard. Let's move on from that. It's a dish that is meaning to suck and discard, meaning this stone, you wouldn't swallow, you wouldn't chew it, just suck on it and discard. Has seen chefs frying up pebbles with ginger and chili. This is hilarious. Like, what is going on? What is going on today? I know we are trying to be more creative, more innovative, but enough. Whatever happened to just eating real food? Now you have people talking about, I'm eating crickets, I'm eating cockroaches, I'm now going to suck and discard stones. In tough economic times, a new money-saving ingredient for stir-fries is gaining in popularity among Chinese internet users: rocks. Videos of chefs making stir-fried rocks are the latest trend on Chinese social media. Some show chefs frying up pebbles with garlic and chili at busy night markets, while others depict bucolic scenes of villagers cooking freshly fished stones on a river bank. However it is made, the dish known as sudiu, suck and discard, is having a resurgence. So this has been a thing for many years. It's just hilarious. At least in videos of people pranking unsuspecting friends. So again, this is a dish that consists of pebbles, of rocks, of stones, and you're not just frying it on a pan over a stove. What you're doing is you're seasoning the rocks. You're putting ginger, chili, apis, habanero pepper, like the list goes on. However you season your meat, your rice, you're using those same seasonings to put on rocks. And the point of it is to suck and discard. So you suck on the seasonings that's fried into and greased on to the pebbles. And that is the point of the dish. The argument here is, where can I find that? But I read something about it earlier, is that the point of the rocks being used is to increase the mineral intake in our bodies by having stones a part of our dish. So according to one food blog, the river stones have a naturally fishy taste that is enhanced when fried at a high heat. But whatever the culinary appeal, many people are not convinced. Some people have flagged the choking risk. Absolutely. And here's the thing, when you suck on pebbles, it may taste good because you season it, right? If you season anything, it's going to taste good. So much so that your brain is thinking, oh, I could eat this. I could chew this. I could swallow this. Maybe if I try really hard. Oh, this is a soft spot. I thought I felt a soft spot. Let me go ahead and try. And your brain is tricked into thinking and believing that it could eat and swallow and digest a rock. That is the funny part here. So we're just like purposely finding ways to choke ourselves as we eat this seasoned pebble. The dish is said to date back hundreds of years, when boatmen in the landlocked province of Hubei would run out of animals and vegetables while traveling along the Yangtze River, and so turn to minerals. Unsurprisingly, according to one history of the dish, it faded in popularity after economic development and motorized vessels came to Hubei, reducing the chances of boatmen being stranded without supplies. Now, I just want to clarify, where is Hubei? Hubei. Okay, it is in the eastern region of China. So, okay, look, I understand how way back in the day when times were tough, it was during the Depression era, it was during a time when you had less supplies, or, you know, whatever the condition was at the time, to have led for someone to eat rocks. And maybe they just sucked on it and discarded it, just like the title says. And that is what held them down until they could find animals and vegetables to eat. So I don't want to judge that, because I think that's very understandable when you have no resources and if you're not into eating humans, right? Because I'm sure they weren't alone. But you come up short, and here, look, all we got are these rocks, and we got ginger, we got scallion. Let's just season it and then suck on it, and that could convince our stomachs that we are fed until we find something better. But now that we are well developed, in whatever country you're in, you're better developed than these boatmen were at this period of time. There is no reason why you should succumb to this. Even if you are dead broke, you could find $1. You really could find $1 and go somewhere and find some food. You don't even have to find you could go to a shelter. There are resources available. You go to the trash can, the dumpster. You know how many restaurants, well, not even how many, every restaurant throws out food that they can't use the following day. And whatever they didn't run out of, they have to discard for health reasons. Because you can't have the same donut. If you leave, for Dunkin' Donuts, for example, you can't have the same donut from yesterday into the following day. So they discard it. And maybe some of them will go out the way to donate it to shelters or, food banks. But nonetheless, it is given either to the trash or to a food bank. So you have options. There are plenty of options for you to eat real food. Okay? Stop. Leave the pebbles alone. Leave them to the sand, to the water. Just leave them alone. I just can't believe this. This is crazy. Okay, affirmative action. Let's talk about this real quick because I'm kind of over the topic and I feel like it is just archaic, really. The whole talk about whether affirmative action is necessary for school admissions, job opportunities, etc. Let's talk about the fact that affirmative action may no longer be used in college admissions. So there has been a decision made, and according to this headline here, divided Supreme Court outlaws affirmative action in college admissions, says race can't be used. Okay, so basically the decision is moving forward in the fact that they believe striking down the affirmative action policy that has been in effect for many years is no longer acceptable, declaring race cannot be a factor and forcing institutions of higher education to look for new ways to achieve diverse student bodies. Now, of course, the Democratic Party is not happy with this. They feel that this will continue to just disproportionate the student body in these universities, especially like these Ivy League schools such as Harvard, Yale, etc. And oftentimes, the argument is that Democrats are saying is white people are more accepted into these universities, and that's because of legacy in their family, meaning maybe their grandfather, their father, their uncle, someone in their family went to this Ivy League. Therefore, my son, my daughter will be accepted here, right? Or they come from a wealthy background and they bought a bench at that university. Therefore, their acceptance is guaranteed. Now, in this case here with affirmative action, the argument here is that Asian Americans are being disproportionate in school acceptance to these Ivy League schools. They feel like, Asian Americans are not getting the acceptance that they deserve because more black people are taking their spots. So now you see a lot of these conservatives and Republicans in general supporting this new outlaw of affirmative action because they're speaking on behalf of Asian Americans, and Asian Americans are very submissive and just mute when it comes to just anything, really. Then you don't really hear Asian Americans being loud and whatever for the most part, like politically. So white America Republicans are finding within them to be this hero for Asian Americans and saying this is good for them. You know, this is not fair that they have been discriminated against, and this outlaw of affirmative action is good for Asian Americans. And it's like, y'all don't give a fuck about Asian Americans. Cut it out. So what I find to be interesting about this is that, of course, Candace Owens has come out and been greatly in support of the outlaw of affirmative action. And what's interesting about that is prior to her being this big wig conservative and just black people hater, she benefited from affirmative action. She greatly benefited from affirmative action. Let's talk about that. So let me go ahead and just get into this article. So Candace Owens says she never had race issues, even though she sued for racial discrimination. Okay? So it was many years ago in Connecticut where so it was in 2007. She accused white boys of racially harassing and threatening to kill her. Owens claimed the boys were the son of the then Stamford mayor, Daniel Malloy, Connecticut's former governor. Because of the NAACP, Owens' family received a settlement of $37,500 from Stamford Public Schools. The NAACP president in Connecticut, Scott X. Esdale, helped Owens win her lawsuit. And he was shocked to hear how Owens has become a conservative. In 2018, he says, quote, "We're very saddened and disappointed in her. It seems to me she's now trying to play a different type of demographic." He also said it's the same type of thing Clarence Thomas did. Thomas reaped all the benefits of affirmative action and then tried to roll over on it. It's that kind of mentality and disrespect. Candace Owens, now calls the NAACP one of the worst groups for black people, even though the organization helped her win a racial discrimination lawsuit. So I just find this to be very strange. You know, like, it's just very disingenuous. That's the word that I'm looking for. It's disingenuous for her to be so happy with the outlaw of affirmative action, be so happy and proud to denounce the NAACP. Yet, had it not been for the NAACP, she wouldn't have won the lawsuit that she filed against the high school that she went to, because she accused the white boys of racially harassing and threatening to kill her. She suffered from racial oppression. And it's just so interesting to me because, look, there's some things about her that she says, like some rhetoric that she shares that I do agree with, right? Like, again, that whole clock quote, a broken clock is right twice a day. Like, that applies here. I do like some of the things that she says. Aesthetically, I like how she looks. I do. I like the makeup that she has on. I like the clothes that like the style that she has is similar to my style, so I kind of see myself in that setting. But nonetheless, I do find it disturbing here that she just completely forgot the work and the help and just the win that she was able to accomplish from the help. Had it not been from the help of the NAACP in Connecticut, she wouldn't have gotten any type of resolve from the racial oppression that she experienced. You know, and today she talks about how racism isn't real, racial oppression isn't real, and how, I guess there was a time when she said she never experienced, there's a quote here. It says here, I do not remember when I was growing up having all of these race issues, and calls police brutality a myth. So it's just very strange. Like, how you not, is this you? Like, are you a clone? Are you not who you are when this happened in 2007? When you accused these white boys of racially harassing and threatening to kill you? That's racial issues, my dear. So it's just very interesting to me. Her and Clarence Thomas. Again, I really don't like to do this whole, because I don't think every black conservative is disingenuous. That's the point that I'm making. And I think oftentimes with the Democratic Party, they look at any black person who dares to be a Republican, who dares to be a conservative, who dares to not even attach themselves to Democratic Party. They look at them as coons, as traitors, as not black people, you're an Oreo, all this BS. And I hate that. That's what I like to just speak out against every time, every opportunity that I can. So that's what I don't like. I just think in this case here, it's very disappointing that Clarence Thomas and Candace Owens all benefited from affirmative action, from the help of NAACP, and yet now they denounce it. They see no point in it. It's like, oh, it helped you, right? But it can't help any other people after you? Like, what is that about? So that's very strange and disappointing. But hey, my pussy pink, my booty hole brown. Let's move on. Van, little black girl who has viral rap video. So there's a little girl. I don't know how old she is. I think she's like 6. She can't be more than 6. She can't be. She has to be 6. Such a cute little girl. She's a cute little black girl. I think she's from, I want to say New Orleans, but I think I'm only saying that because she went to New Orleans during SS Fest. I think she had a booking. So again, she's very young. She has these viral videos of her rapping, and you've seen the video. You only see her in the video. You don't see her father, but you hear her father. He's the one who's recording her, and he's taking directions from her because she is also a video director. She's telling her dad as he's recording, here's what I want you to do for the video. Here, I want you to stand here. I'm going to come out this car like this, and blah, blah, blah. And then you see the final production, and you see her doing what she said in the dry run. So cute. And she's a rapper. So, I guess she just freestyles. And her rap is appropriate. It's not like, I stun on this nigga. Like, she's not, she's not talking like that, thankfully. Anyway, so she is rapping, and it's cute. It's light. She's adorable. Cute little black girl, fluffy hair, chocolate skin, just adorable. I think with anything, when it comes to children, there's a point when it becomes a little cringe. And it's like, is it cute or is it child exploitation? That's the question. Is it cute or is it inappropriate? Is it borderline inappropriate? Now, yes, it seems like she's enjoying herself, but I do wonder at some point, is the parent enjoying it more than she is? Is the parent pushing her to get up, wake up, we gotta do a video every day, get up? And that's the thing with content creation. There really aren't any days off. Especially if you're starting off and you have one viral video or 2 viral videos and you're on a roll and you're on this high. It's hard to balance sometimes, especially when you're starting off. So I do wonder, is this child exploitation or is this cute? Are her parents living vicariously through her? And there's a lot of creepers out here. There's a lot of people out here who enjoy looking at little children. There was this video that I watched of this white woman calling out the parent of this teenage girl who has videos on this site called Cameo. And Cameo is a site in which a lot of celebrities, typically like D-list celebrities who don't really have much going on for them now, like they don't have a relevant current show that they're on, and they're not like really big stars, but they do have a little bit of a following and they can make some extra cash if they create these individualized videos for whoever purchases the rate for that. So like if you want Nene Leakes to tell you happy birthday, you'll pay $1,200. Like the celebrity will literally give you the price, or it's listed somewhere, and you just write down some information about you. So you write down your name, your age, what the event is, and then the video that the celebrity will produce is of themselves saying happy birthday to Corey. Happy birthday, Corey. This is Nene Leakes, and I just want to, like they'll just be all in the video giving you a shout out, and you just have that video on you like, oh my gosh, I feel special. So this woman on Twitter, she had this video of her calling out the parent of this teenage girl who decided to create a cameo for this firefighter who's obviously an adult male, and wish him a happy birthday. And she's dressed, in her, like a teenager would, this camisole tank top, and and though she's making money from it, it still is cringe, right? Like, yeah, sure, she knew she's making a video for an adult male, but I do wonder, like, okay, maybe the kid's not understanding that this may be a little weird, but the parent of this child should step in and be like, no, I don't want my child making a video for a strange man who's an adult who happens to be a firefighter and is requesting for my teenage daughter to sing him happy birthday. If you don't go to the strip club and get your life, so stuff like that is like, at what point does it become strange and uncomfortable and just something you shouldn't be doing? Anyway, you guys, let's get into the end. We're done here. Thank you so much for listening, and I thank you for subscribing, for liking, for leaving a review, for telling a friend to tell a friend, and I will check in with you all next time. Peace. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of God Built This Podcast with your host, Maxine. If you liked it, leave a review, share, and subscribe. God bless.